Grade 4. Grade 4 is the absolute bottom of the Jujutsu ranking ladder. This is where new sorcerers start, the entry badge you get before anyone trusts you with something scary. At this level, you're still learning how cursed energy works, how to not panic when something moves on its own, and how to swing first before the curse does. A Grade 4 sorcerer is expected to deal with Grade 4 curses. These curses are the absolute bottom feeders of the supernatural world. Weak, mindless, and barely dangerous. They're usually dispatched by first-year students before lunch. They spring from small, everyday fears, bugs, dirty toilets, or that spine-tingling sense that someone is watching you at night. These curses are nuisances more than threats, and the official way their strength gets measured is pretty funny. They're considered weak enough that even a simple wooden bat can handle them. That's it. If you show up with a proper weapon, or even just confidence, the curse is donezo. Strength-wise, Grade 4 sorcerers have one thing going for them. They are alive and learning. You can see curses, you can use cursed energy, and you can survive encounters that normal people cannot even perceive. That already puts you above the average civilian. Your cursed energy output is low, your control is messy, and your technique is either undeveloped or non-existent. You rely on fundamentals and supervision. At this rank, you're not sent after anything dangerous. You don't do solo missions that involve real risk, and you're not expected to fight smart or creatively yet. The job is simple. Find the weak curse, exercise it, go home. Anything stronger than Grade 4 is not your problem, and definitely not your paycheck. Your main role is being a trainee with benefits. You clear out low-level curses so stronger sorcerers do not waste time on cleanup. You also act as proof that the Jujutsu system is working. You exist to gain experience, not glory. You wake up knowing today's mission will not kill you. That already makes it a good day. You get assigned to a location with a reputation for creepy noises and unexplained shadows. You arrive, sense a faint cursed presence, and immediately realize this thing is not built different. It barely reacts to your presence. You focus your cursed energy, land a clean hit, and the curse disappears like it never mattered. You spend more time filling out mission reports than actually fighting. You get lectured for sloppy cursed energy control. You nod, promise to improve, and then get sent out again to deal with another weak curse haunting a storage room. Just keep in mind that the Jujutsu higher-ups aren't always great at judging threats. You might get sent out there thinking you're dealing with a harmless Grade 4 curse, only to realize it's way stronger than advertised. That kind of mistake is how a lot of Grade 4 sorcerers ended up dead. If you're lucky, a higher level sorcerer shows up in time and wipes out the curse before it wipes out you. So every now and then you see higher grade sorcerers in action. They show up, obliterate something terrifying, and leave while you pretend you totally understood what just happened. Look at the bright side still. Your missions are simple and the pressure is low. You get guidance, supervision, and time to improve instead of being thrown into chaos right away. But at the same time, the downsides are impossible to ignore. No one really takes you seriously yet. You do not get flashy moments or recognition. You might spend a week clearing weak curses from abandoned classrooms. Another week might involve patrolling areas where curses tend to form naturally. Sometimes you act as backup and do nothing while stronger sorcerers handle the real threat. You are constantly reminded that you are at the bottom, and if you don't improve, you stay there. Grade 4 life is not glamorous. It's training wheels with cursed energy. It is the fate where you prove you belong in the Jujutsu world at all. Everyone who becomes strong starts here, even if no one brags about it later. Grade 3. Grade 3 is where things finally start feeling real in the Jujutsu world. You're no longer stuck in the beginner zone, but you're also not trusted enough to be left alone with anything dangerous. This rank sits right in the middle where you have proven you can use cursed energy properly, but you still need more experience before anyone lets you freelance. At this level, your abilities are solid. You have decent cursed energy control. You can reinforce your body, and you likely have a cursed technique you can actually use in combat. Your attacks land harder, your movements are cleaner, and you are no longer flailing your way through fights. That said, your power still has limits. You're not built to deal with high-risk curses alone, and one bad matchup can still ruin your day fast. Grade 3 sorcerers usually do not take missions solo. You are often paired with someone stronger who keeps an eye on you. If that supervisor happens to be Grade 1 or higher, they usually stay in the background and let you work things out yourself. They only step in if the situation starts going sideways. This setup exists so you gain real combat experience without instantly becoming a cautionary tale. On the curse side, Grade 3 curses are still on the lower end of the food chain, but unlike the Grade 4 bottom feeders, these ones can at least put up a fight. They're born from everyday anxieties, illness, job stress, social rejection, or that constant feeling of failure people carry around. They're not powerful enough to flatten a city, but they have enough cursed energy to make things interesting. A normal person would get wrecked fast. but a trained grade 3 sorcerer can handle them solo without breaking a sweat. Something as simple as a handgun is usually enough to deal with them, which says a lot about their overall threat level. You arrive at the site, feel the cursed presence immediately, and realize this thing actually wants to fight back. You activate cursed energy without panicking, move in carefully, and handle the situation with focus instead of desperation. Your supervisor watches quietly, letting you take the lead. Sometimes things go smoothly, and you walk away knowing that you handled it cleanly. Other times, the curse pushes harder than expected, so the supervisor has no choice but to jump in and handle it themselves. That's usually when the gap between you and higher ranked sorcerers really hits you. That gap is frustrating, but it also becomes motivation. Being a grade 3 has clear upsides. You finally get real combat experience, your missions feel meaningful, and people start acknowledging that you are competent. You are trusted enough to be on the front line, while still having backup nearby. At the same time, the downsides are obvious. You still lack independence, your mistakes are more dangerous, and you are constantly reminded that you're not strong enough yet to handle everything on your own. Grade 3 feels like being almost there. You're strong enough to matter, but not strong enough to relax. Mai Zenin and Noboru Kugisaki are in this rank, so that should give you a decent idea of the kind of firepower you're working with.
Gamer Supps is an energy and nootropic formula designed to be a healthier, cheaper, and more effective beverage over energy drinks for gamers or the modern anime weeb on the go. Its blend of essential vitamins, caffeine, and nootropics provide a consistent boost with no jitters and no crash. It has 0 sugar, less than 1 carb, and less than 1 calorie per serving, so it's keto and diabetic safe. Plus, there's sugar-free options. I personally drink it all the time to be able to grind out these straight-to-the-point and informative videos for you guys, and they'll likely be the only sponsor you'll ever see on this channel. So help the channel stay mostly sponsor-free by clicking the link in our description, picking from the many tasty and uniquely named flavors on the website, and use our code ANIMEX at checkout to save 10% on your order. It would be a huge help for us. Also, pick yourself up a aesthetically interesting waifu cup while you're at it too. They're collectible. But anyway.
Semi-Grade 2. Semi-Grade 2 is the in-between rank that exists because the Jujutsu world loves paperwork almost as much as curses. It sits just above Grade 3, and the gap between them is not huge. This rank is for sorcerers who are clearly improving, clearly useful, and still clearly not ready enough to be fully trusted on their own. At this level, your curse technique is developed enough to be reliable. You know how to fight without freezing up. You understand how to manage curse energy in real combat, and you can handle most basic curses without supervision hovering over your shoulder every second. You're stronger than a Grade 3, cleaner in execution, and more consistent overall. That consistency is the main reason this rank exists in the first place. The limitations start showing once things escalate. Your technique still has rough edges, your reactions are not perfect, and your decision making can crack under pressure. Grade 2 or higher curses can overwhelm you if you're careless. You are strong, but not refined enough to dominate tougher enemies alone. That is why solo missions with real risk are still off the table most of the time. Your main role as a semi-grade 2 is being a reliable support. You scout areas, handle lesser threats during larger missions, and back up higher ranked sorcerers. You are also actively being evaluated for promotion, which means every fight feels like an exam you did not ask for. You get sent on missions where people actually expect results. You are not babysat, but someone stronger is usually nearby just in case. You enter an area, assess the situation, and deal with weaker curses efficiently. When something stronger shows up, you feel the pressure immediately. You know you can fight, but you also know that one mistake could spiral fast. The pros of this rank feel good. You are respected, trusted with real responsibilities, and given room to operate. Your growth is noticeable, and people start treating you like a proper sorcerer instead of a trainee. At the same time, the cons creep in. Expectations are higher, mistakes matter more, and you are constantly reminded that you are close to the next level, but not quite there yet. Everyday life as a semi-grade 2 is busy and tense. You handle patrols, assist in larger operations, and clean up lingering curses before they become bigger problems. You train constantly to smooth out your technique and fix habits that could get you overwhelmed later. Some days feel smooth and controlled. Other days remind you exactly why you have not been promoted yet. Panda is an example of what this rank looks like in practice. Officially, he's a semi-grade 2, even though he can fight far above that level. His ranking comes from how the higher-ups judge sorcerers. They care about consistency, technique structure, and classification boxes. Panda is an abrupt mutation cursed corpse with 3 cores, and while he has raw power and multiple combat modes, he lacks a traditional innate curse technique. Because of that, his base evaluation lands around this level. Semi-grade 2 life is progress with pressure attached. You are past the beginner stage, actively useful, and one strong showing away from becoming a full grade 2. Until then, you stay sharp, stay humble, and hope the higher-ups notice more than just your paperwork. Grade 2. Grade 2 is where sorcerers stop feeling like students and start feeling like professionals. This rank represents above average skill, and most working sorcerers end up living somewhere between grade 1 and grade 2. At this rank, you're no longer learning how to fight. You already know how. Now it's about consistency, judgment, and not messing up under pressure. You can handle solo missions, trusted to enter dangerous areas without supervision, and deal with curses that would flatten lower ranks. Concurrently, grade 2 curses are where things stop being warm-ups. These spirits are not mindless fodder roaming abandoned buildings. Some of them can talk, plan, and manipulate the battlefield. Many come with actual curse techniques or special abilities instead of just swinging wildly. The official measurement says it all. A grade 2 curse is considered a close call with a shotgun. You're not walking away from that unless you know exactly what you're doing. That is why grade 2 sorcerers are trusted with these fights, and lower ranks are not. As a grade 2 sorcerer, you get a call about a curse that has already caused serious damage. No supervisor joins you. That alone tells you how much trust you have earned. You arrive, analyze the situation, and move in with confidence. The fight is intense, but controlled. You manage your curse energy, adjust your approach, and end the threat without outside help. That is why grade 2 sorcerers form the backbone of the Jujutsu world. They handle missions that are too dangerous for students, but not extreme enough to demand a grade 1 every time. Without grade 2s, the whole system collapses under its own workload. There are still limits though. You are not untouchable. Grade 1 and special grade threats are still a serious problem, and one mistake can cost you your life. Your technique might be strong, but it is not perfect. You win through skill and control rather than overwhelming force. You're expected to know when to push and when to pull back. Megumi Fushiguro is a standout example of this rank. For a first year, hitting grade 2 is already pretty crazy, but that's mostly because Megumi is a straight up prodigy, especially since he inherited the highly prized 10 Shadows technique from the Zenin clan. Takuma Ino shows the other side of this rank. He is not flashy, but he is effective. Everyday life at this rank is busy and unpredictable. One day, you're clearing a dangerous curse from a populated area. The next day, you're assisting in a larger operation and handling secondary threats, while higher ranks deal with the worst part. You train constantly to refine your technique and keep your edge sharp, because slipping even once can be fatal. Grade 2 life is pressure mixed with pride. You're no longer proving you belong, because you already do. Now, the goal is staying alive, staying consistent, and deciding whether you aim higher or stay exactly where the world needs you the most. Semi-grade 1. Semi-grade 1 is the rank where the Jujutsu world starts watching you closely. It sits just above grade 2 and the gap between them is not massive, but the expectations jump fast. You have already been recommended for full grade 1, gone through multiple missions, and proven you can perform under pressure. You're almost there, but not quite trusted with the full title yet. At this level, your curse energy control is sharp and reliable. Your technique works consistently, and you know how to apply it in real combat instead of just theory. You can handle dangerous solo missions, assist in large-scale operations, and adapt when timings do not go as planned. You're trusted with serious work, and people assume you will not freeze when things turn ugly. The threats you deal with are no joke. Semi-grade 1 sorcerers regularly face curses that can use curse techniques. These spirits are intelligent, tactical, and capable of killing experienced curse users. They do not just throw themselves at you. They plan, manipulate the environment, and punish mistakes. Any curse that can communicate clearly or show advanced awareness usually falls into this category or higher. Your strength at this rate comes from control and decision making. You know how to pace a fight, conserve cursed energy, and exploit openings. You also know when to retreat instead of forcing a bad matchup. The limitation comes from consistency. You might still struggle against top-tier enemies or lose momentum in drawn-out battles. That last layer of refinement is what separates you from a full grade 1. Toge Inumaki is a great example of this level. His curse speech is extremely dangerous, but it comes with heavy strain and risk. Utahime Iori shows another side of semi-grade 1, where her innate technique does not focus on raw combat, but support. Noritoshi Kamo represents technical mastery through his blood manipulation technique. Kokishi Muda, operating through Ultimate Mekamaru, pushes this rank even further with precision, analysis, and overwhelming curse energy output despite his physical condition. If you belong to this rank, you can walk with your head held high, because people respect you, trust you, and actually take you seriously. You work alongside strong sorcerers and are considered an asset instead of support. Everyday life at semi-grade 1 is intense and demanding. One day you're dealing with a sentient curse terrorizing a group of civilians, the next day you're supporting a large operation where coordination and timing matter more than raw strength. Now the question is whether you prove you deserve the final step or stay permanently stuck right below it. Grade 1. Grade 1 is the gold standard of Jujutsu society. This is the level everyone below is grinding towards, because once you reach it, you are officially trusted with the worst problems around. Grade 1 sorcerers get the most dangerous missions, are sent out to supervise Jujutsu students in the field, and get access to top-level classified info, and at least get paid enough that the trauma feels a little more worth it. It is also the highest rank you can reach through normal means. Special grade is reserved for rare exceptions, not career progression. At this level, you are expected to handle extreme situations alone. Your curse energy control is refined, your technique is reliable under stress, and your judgment is sharp enough to make life or death calls without hesitation. You are not just strong, you are consistent. That consistency is why the higher-ups trust you with operations where failure is not an option. Grade 1 sorcerers deal with Grade 1 curses regularly. These spirits are terrifying in their own way. They sit in that uncomfortable space between manageable and catastrophic. They often have multiple techniques, extreme durability, or abilities that start resembling domain expansion without actually crossing that line. These are curses that even military-grade weapons struggle to deal with, which is why Jujutsu Society sends people like you instead. You get called when everyone else is either overwhelmed or not qualified. The mission details are vague on purpose, but you can tell it's bad. You arrive, assess the situation quickly, and act without waiting for permission. You know the fight will hurt, but you also know that you can handle it. Kento Nanami is the textbook example of what this rank looks like. He is calm, efficient, and brutally practical. He does not rely on flash, only precision and timing. Mei Mei represents the independent side of Grade 1. She takes missions strictly for money, operates solo, and has zero patience for nonsense. Aoi Todo somehow reached this rank while still a student, which already tells you how absurd his talent and combat sense are. Hatsuya Kusakabe shows that flashy techniques are not required. Experience, positioning, and tactical awareness can carry you far. Earning this elite rank means that you're respected, well paid, and trusted with the most important missions. You work independently, and your decisions carry real weight, but the danger is constant. The responsibility is heavy, and the margin for error is almost non-existent. Every mission has the potential to be your last, since you're up against powerful curses that can easily wipe out a whole squad of lower-ranked sorcerers. Everyday life at this rank is intense and exhausting. One day, you're sent to exercise a high-level curse threatening an entire district. The next day, you are handling classified operations that never make it onto official reports. You rarely get breaks, and when you do, they never last long because you'll probably get called in to help out lower-ranked sorcerers who are in trouble. Grade 1 life is pressure turned into routine. You're not chasing recognition anymore. You are the safety net holding the Jujutsu world together. When things go wrong, people call you, and when you show up, they expect the problem to disappear. Special Grade 1. Special Grade 1 is one of the weirdest labels in the Jujutsu ranking system, mostly because it's not really about power. Under this classification, you match the strength, skill, and reliability of a standard Grade 1, but you operate outside the official structure of Jujutsu High. You do not follow school procedures, you're not under any direct supervision, and you do not care much about internal politics unless it affects you directly. In terms of combat ability, you are no different from Grade 1. Your curse energy control is refined, your techniques are battle-tested, and you are capable of handling high-level curses on your own. You can take on dangerous missions, lead operations, and survive encounters that would wipe out lower ranks. The difference is authority and affiliation, not strength. Your main role is acting as an independent agent. Jujutsu High works with you through cooperation agreements instead of command structures. That means you get called in when your expertise is needed, but you're not obligated to show up for every request. This setup gives you freedom, but it also means you carry full responsibility for your actions. All known special Grade 1 sorcerers come from the Zenin clan, which already explains a lot. Naobito, Ogi, Naoya, and Jinichi all fit the profile of experienced, high-level fighters who operate on their own terms. They are trusted because of their ability, but they are not controlled by the school. Being in this rank, you get contacted instead of summoned. The mission details are laid out, but the decision is yours. You arrive knowing no one is managing you, backing you up, or cleaning up your mess. You assess the situation, engage the curse, and handle it the way that you see fit. If something goes wrong, it's on you alone. You have Grade 1 level respect, serious authority, and complete independence. You do not answer to teachers or committees, and your experience speaks for itself. Special Grade 1 life is freedom with consequences attached. You are strong enough to stand beside Grade 1 sorcerers, but independent enough to walk when you want. Whether that makes things better or worse depends entirely on how well you handle that freedom. Special Grade. Special Grade is what happens when the Jujutsu ranking system looks at you, stares for a bit, and quietly admits defeat. This rank exists for sorcerers whose power can't be measured using normal standards. They break every benchmark, ignore scaling, and make Grade 1 look like a warm-up phase. That is why Grade 1 is still considered the highest official rank, because Special Grade is basically a category for anomalies. As of 2018, only 4 Jujutsu sorcerers are officially recognized as Special Grade. We're talking top tier, the absolute strongest in the modern Jujutsu world. First up is Satoru Gojo. He's basically the strongest sorcerer of the modern era, so that alone tells you just how crazy this rank can get. Also in this rank are Suguro Geto, Yuki Tsukumo, and Yuta Akatsu. Just seeing this lineup gives you an idea of the company you're keeping at this level. And then there's one more who belongs here, the king of curses himself, Ryomen Sukuna. As a special grade sorcerer, you deal with threats that normal teams cannot touch. These include special grade cursed spirits, disasters born from humanity's worst fear, and situations where the official plan quietly jumps from exorcism to large-scale destruction. Special grade curses can wipe out city blocks, dismantle entire squads, and still have enough intelligence to mock everyone involved. They come with unique curse techniques, massive curse energy, and a level of awareness that makes them terrifyingly efficient. The official idea for handling threats like these involves using cluster bombs, which gives you a sense of just how chaotic they can be. Anything beyond grade 1 gets thrown into the special grade category because there's no point pretending precision still exists. You're not sent on missions, you're deployed like a last resort. When something shows up that wipes out teams and ignores strategy, your name gets mentioned. You arrive knowing the rules are optional, collateral damage is expected, and everyone nearby is praying you feel cooperative today. You assess the situation, apply overwhelming force, and end the problem before it escalates further. Being at the top gives you unmatched authority, almost complete freedom, and enough power to basically bend reality to your will. No one questions your decision at the moment because stopping you is not an option. Resources appear instantly, and your backup exists mostly to watch and survive. But being the best comes with its downsides. You end up isolated, always watched, and even your allies see you as a ticking time bomb. Just existing messes with the power balance, and one slip-up can turn it into a full-blown historical event. Everyday life as a special grade is chaotic in a quiet way. You're not constantly fighting, but when you do, it's never small. A lot of the time, the fate of an entire nation is on your shoulders, so imagine the kind of psychological pressure that brings. You either take out the threat that could destroy everything, or watch the whole population fall apart right in front of you. That's the kind of fight you end up every now and then. In short, being special grade means you are not part of the system. You are the exception the system is built around. When things go wrong beyond repair, you step in, fix it your way, and leave behind a reminder of why this rank barely exists.